Hi guys, in this video we're going to be taking a look at all the different ways in which we can rotate our objects in Blender. So rotating is what is known as a transform, and in Blender there are three transforms related to each individual object. These are location, rotation and scale. When it comes to rotation, this involves how much the object is being spun on a specific axis or in 3 dimensions. To rotate our cube here, we can do so by using the R key on our keyboard. So by pressing R, we initiate rotate mode, in which the highlight of our selected object becomes white. The cursor also changes slightly, and it's slightly connected as well to the object's origin. If we move our mouse, you can see that we are able to rotate our object. Now this current form of rotation is based on our view in the 3D viewport. If I right click to cancel the operation, I can press 1 to go into front orthographic view, then press the R key again to begin rotation. This time the object rotates on a single axis almost, because we're looking at it from a 2D view. Now there are other ways in which we can control our rotation. One method is to use the hotkeys X, Y and Z in conjunction with the R key. So if I press R to enable rotation and then press X, I can lock the rotation to the X axis. Alternatively, I can press Y to lock it to the Y axis and Z to lock it to the Z axis. I can hit the right mouse button to cancel. One more hotkey that we can access is for trackball rotation. If we press R to begin rotating our object, we know that it rotates based on the view of our viewport. But if we press R a second time, we can enable trackball rotation, which allows us to freely rotate the model on all 3 axes, regardless of how we are viewing our object in the 3D viewport. So those are the hotkeys that allow us to rotate our objects in Blender. But we can also use the rotate tool. Now the rotate tool is located here in the tool shelf. If you can't see the tool shelf, you may need to press the T key on your keyboard to bring the tool shelf into view. Enable the rotate tool and we see this gizmo with curved lines. The white line on the outside allows us to rotate based on the view of the viewport. Inside we have a hollow circle. Now if we click and drag on the hollow circle, we enable trackball rotation, which was the same technique as pressing R twice with the hotkey. Finally, we have the 3 coloured lines. Red indicates rotating on the X axis, so we can click and drag to rotate on the X axis. We can click and drag on the green line to rotate on the Y, and on the blue line to rotate on the Z. In addition to the hotkey and the rotate tool, we can also use numerical values for our rotation. If we press N on our keyboard, we can access the side panel, which allows us to change our rotation values on each axis. For example, we can click and drag to rotate on the X axis, or we can click and drag multiple and rotate on multiple axes at the same time. We also have the ability to click and type in a specific value. For example, I can rotate by a value of 45 degrees exactly by using the side panel. These options are also available in the Properties panel if you go to the Objects Properties tab. You'll see the rotation values here, and you can click and drag to manipulate them, or you can click and type in a specific value for your rotation. These are the various ways in which we can rotate our geometry in Blender. Thanks for watching guys. If you're interested in learning more about Blender, then check out the link in the description below. This will take you to the Blender Bootcamp, which is our own library filled with Blender learning resources such as classes, full courses, further tutorials, workshops and more. Check out the link in the video description and gain access to all of these resources for free for a 30-day trial period.